Yeah. Hey, you know I got a testimony, right? I mean, I was just thinking about where I was at in life before I gave it up to God, and where I'm at now. You know, it's been good to me. Let's go. Used to be smoked out, drinking whatever I could swallow, knowing that I'm sinning and still blessing the bottle. Living with no direction, just chasing after the high. Stuck in the Great Depression, the lowest point in my life. Dying to break free, but was imprisoned by my pride. Plotting the great escape from this jail within my mind. My thoughts were like an arch of the darts.
On the last episode, we talked about why do they fear us. Well, here's part 2. This is Kayan, your host, Men Do Talk.
Yeah. Now we kind of already touched on this question, but is it really fear, or could it be just an excuse for execution?
What's that? I'm missing part of your question.
Is it really fear? Do they really fear us, or could it be just an excuse to execute us?
I think it's. Go ahead.
You want to go first this time?
Okay, I think in some incidents, let's just change flip the switch a little bit. Let's say we were black and we kind of had the upper hand in some kind of way. Do you think we would give over our power or give our position over to the white people if they were probably, cause, you know what I mean, socially? Mm-hmm. I don't think we would.
Right. Yeah, but how did you get that power in the first place?
Well, what I'm saying is, I think that's the issue is they want us to continue to do what we do, but they don't want to lose position. So if it takes doing something small here to kind of make them feel comfortable about them not losing their power, then they'll do that. If it's just something small or just simply calling the police. And I think with America, white America now, on why all these incidents are happening is because their comfort zone is being attacked. Absolutely. Years ago, they could do whatever they want to do. Now, not only is one moving into the neighborhood, it's a lot of us moving in. A lot of us have the social and the finances to do what we want to do, go travel, and come back with a different mindset and be vocal about it. But I think that's the issue is they're not going to change their position. They will do the small things to keep their position. And while they're in their position, now their comfort zone is being attacked, and they don't like that.
Yeah, because even in the last presidential election, I think, if I understood some of the stuff that was going on, it was that you couldn't win the presidency without the support of a major minority group, whether it's African American or this group, that group, so on and so forth. But the current president seemingly won without that. So you have this last ditch effort, I think, to maintain power. Because when you see that your power is going away because the makeup of the country is changing, that's still fear, And since you brought the lions and the tigers, I'll bring up the snakes, right? I don't like snakes. So whether I don't have an appreciation or whether I just fear them, if there's a snake and I got a gun, he's a dead snake. I'm not going to say, is this a good one or a bad one? We're not. It's not even a question. Here's the thing that I don't like. I don't understand it. I don't know what it does. All I know is here and I'm here. One of us can't be here, right? And if I have the power, then I'm going to do what I need to do to get rid of the snake. It may be a good snake. That's the snake that keeps all the roosters out of my house. Mm-hmm. I don't know that because it's just a snake. See what I'm saying? So I've got the power. What I don't have is the understanding. I got power and I got fear. And you put those two things together and you get negative consequences and results. And I think that's what happens when you put a gun in the hand of someone and you don't truly know his or her heart when it comes to whether it's African American or Asian or whatever group they've got some concern with or whatever else. And when the thing goes down and they've now got the option of shooting or not, If they think about that person like I think about that snake, that person's just shot.
Yeah.
It's not even a question in that person. If I'm ever in this situation, I'm shooting.
Right.
You know, and that's the person that I think is the most will cause the most concern from a law enforcement standpoint. Is what is your true feeling about the people that you're supposed to be protecting and serving? Because you can't protect some and not others. You can't serve some and not others. If you want to do it, you got to do it for everybody.
Right.
And if you can't do that, then yeah, you need to go get you a different line of work, because you will be in a situation, you know, I've got a son, and I've had to tell him, and again, I don't know if other ethnicities have to have these conversations, but when I gave him a car, I'm like, bruh, if you ever get pulled over, put your hands down. Yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, answer all the questions, survive the encounter. Don't. Why are you pulling me over? Yeah. No, we'll have that discussion later.
Mm-hmm.
You survive that encounter. I'll do your fight. You know what I mean? I got enough rocks in my pocket. I know where we need to go and who we need to call to make sure the fight happens. You just get home. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's unfair, because you don't know what kind of day that person's had. You know, even when I got into acting, one of the funniest things I was doing a play. And I had such a horrible trip trying to get from around 285 to the theater. And I got there, and I'm like, bro, nobody cares about your trip. They came to see a character that you're supposed to portray. So you got to let all that go and do your job.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know the officers do. I don't know if you're mad because your last encounter, your next encounter, you're still mad. So now you're just ready to shoot somebody. Because you can't put that in the box and close the lid on it. You know. You got to have that kind of control when you have that kind of power. If you don't, then you get negative results, and then all of a sudden the body cam video disappears. Oh, it wasn't working. Oh, we lost the footage. So come on, we know.
I think we have something that's going on here, not only in America, but really all over the world. We got something called mass media. And for a long time, we was programmed to act and behave the way that we act and behave.
Mm-hmm.
They was able to do that. They said if you did not want black people to understand something, to understand who they are, what they are, and what's it all about, you take the information and put it where? In a book, right? And they said we could not read.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we could not read. We was not able to read what they had put in that book at that particular time. And I think from looking at growing up as a child in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, when I did, and I keep going back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, because I remember as a child, I never even really saw a police officer visit our community. They didn't need to visit our community because we did what? We policed our community ourselves, and we policed each other. You knew that if you did such and such thing as a child growing up, even as an adult in that community, they wouldn't call no police on you. Some older men and those women would take care of it at that particular time. Now, I saw some that come in sometime when they pick up their little money for their shot houses being running and that kind of thing. But you didn't do that. The old saying that it says, take a village to raise a child, that's so true. We're no longer doing that in our communities. Matter of fact, we have turned the education system over to who? Someone else, versus we doing it ourselves in our community. So we got to try to figure out what are the messages that's going to the young people. Woo, almost got myself in trouble. I told someone, and I use the term media, one of the worst things, and I'm going to say this, and if I don't have a job, well, I don't have a job, I own this.
There you go.
I had a chance to sit and watch some of the soap operas or whatever these reality shows that they have on television. And remember what you said and send a message to young people, say reality. So that means what? It's real. Right. And they're sitting there and they're watching that. Then they start imitating that.
Right.
And we begin to wonder, well, why is she dressed like this? Or why he act like this? And why he's doing this? Because he's seeing somebody on reality TV who's making millions of dollars an episode that what? Behave and act like that. So if it's about the money, what are you going to do? You're going to behave and act like that also. Okay? Now, I think that's something that we have got to pay a very close attention to. I don't call it television anymore, TV. I call it telling you your vision. And that's, think about it. That's what's happening. That's what really happening in our community. I see little boys and little girls, they walk through here with them. The baby will start crying. She takes out her cell phone and give it to that child. And that child does this and start laughing. Sometimes I go over and look to see what he's laughing at. Right? That's what we up against.
No, the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
Even like in the old days, we used to watch the TV show Cops. In the old days, you know, and every now and then you see the guy running around with the boom. You know, you see a cameraman.
Yeah.
Reality TV, you don't see wires.
Nope.
You don't see lights. You don't see the guy with the boom. And people say, why is that? Because it's not reality. That's staged.
Yeah.
So you may have a script and then they say, okay, now do a little something extra with it. So come on. You can't do that in real life and expect to not have some negative consequences.
Exactly.
So again, that's now, and I've always taken my responsibility as a filmmaker very seriously, because I understand that what I put in film, some people may think is reality.
Right.
And so I've always wanted to have a positive message, even if it sacrifices the commercialism of the film. You know, I'd rather give you something that you can believe in and you can take to the bank and say, okay, you know, what was the story and how does that relate to my life, versus give you a bunch of stuff that if you go out and do in public for real, you're going to have a visitor with a badge and they're going to invite you to go sit in their car.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Let's Get Your Life Back Productions provides videography services, photography services, and much, much more. Please visit us on our website at www.letsgetyourlifeback.com or on all the social medias.
And the thing about the reality and about TV, I worked a couple of shows, reality shows, and we had one artist. She was a female, and she came here, excited about Atlanta, and the producers were Caucasian, 3 Caucasian guys, and they were from California, and one would do the story, find out who that person doesn't like, who that person likes, put them in the room, and then give us like a scenario. If she does this, this is what the storyline is going to be. If she does this, the storyline is going to be. And they call one red ratings and blue ratings. Red ratings means high intensity, fighting, violence. Blue ratings, oh, that's cool. She saw that person. That's good ratings for, like, you know, later on. But and we would do story every morning. Okay, story time. We go sit in a meeting, listen to the 3 producers, and they're talking about what we're about to do today. And then we would talk to the actual artist for casual conversation, and she was telling us all the interesting things she was doing when she came here. That was the reality of what we want to hear about. Right. You know, she's going to the studio with this person. This person came by and saw her. I think one of the, I forget who the black female was, came and congratulated her about her with her new record on it. That was the things that we needed to hear about. We didn't want to hear about her best friend cousins. You know, we didn't want to. But that's what the Caucasian males wanted to put out, and we kind of have in Atlanta. We have that power to do that. I mean, Mr. Perry himself. Benny Boom, other guys that have kind of or have the power to shape it, and I'm commending those guys, but they make me feel good when I'm on set and we see these guys doing these things, you know, and I think that's what we need more of, you know. I wish we could get more of that.
Now, is there anything that Black people can do to lessen their fear?
No.
You say no?
Yeah.
I don't. You know what? I mean, and when I say no, I say it boldly because I think, why should we? That's for being black. We shouldn't have to do that. And I mean, we can come up with situations on why we should, and to help appease them. But why should we?
Mhm.
You know.
I'm gonna go back to the snake. Snake's just crawling. Ain't even thinking about me. I'm thinking about him. See what I'm saying? So it's not. It's not. I don't think the onus is on us to make the change. As far as being less fearful, because we're just trying to live. We're just trying to go our way and do our thing and so on and so forth. And what we're not looking for is for somebody to purposefully try to interrupt us in our walk and on our journey, right? So if the snake's going by and I'm on this side and he's on that side, I'm supposed to just let him go. I may not like him, but he ain't hurting me. He ain't hurting me. He ain't even coming my way. So just let him and that's what I'm saying. So I can't dislike the snake so much that no matter which direction he's going, even if he's not even a threat to me, I'm gonna kill him. See what I'm saying? Even though I still have the fear, I have to say, you know what? Even though I fear it, it's causing me no concern right now. I'm gonna let it go. I can't be like, well, it ain't causing me concern today, but tomorrow it's gonna be on my front porch. I gotta kill it. No, that's too much. So I think it's almost too much to ask us to be less fearful, because for the most part, I don't think we're doing anything purposefully anyway that you're supposed to fear us anyway. Now, if you intimidated by my education and my drive and my passion and my desire and my trying to keep it moving forward, then yeah, you can always fear me. Because guess what? I keep going.
Right.
And it's not just me. This is what I think a lot of African Americans have always done. Look at where we came from to where we've been and where we're still going. We just go. We have all the reasons in the world to not succeed, but we still succeed. Right. And that causes fear.
And I think got 2 points, but I know Mr. Horton. Okay, like in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street and all those guys, per capita millionaires, doctors, lawyers, and all that. Like they were just doing their thing. They were doing what they were supposed to do, and I'm sure there was incidents that happened, but I think on the outside, the Caucasian people felt like they're doing too much. And so if we create a situation like that where we stay by ourselves and we do our own thing and grow, that's a problem in itself. If we're acting crazy, acting the fool, that's a problem. You know what I mean? So I don't think there's a happy medium that we could try to make with them. And that's just the honest truth, I think.
I think when you don't make an attempt to understand other people other than your people, sometimes you don't understand yourself, then you really got a serious problem. And I'll go back to this thing that what has happened, I'm going to say here in America, is that from the beginning of the so-called founding of America, they have not taught their children, their great-grandchildren, or them themselves who we are, where we came from, what we're capable of doing, right? Also, they hid it for so long from us that we don't know who we are, where we came from, why we're here, and what we should be doing. And then when you start doing that, and so a few people find that out, then they do whatever they can to make sure that that knowledge is not in the right place. Because for some reason, and I don't know what it is, and it's my personal belief, I think sometimes why they do what they do to us, because they do have this fear that if we become the sort of people on top, then we will try to do to them what they have done to us. We are not those kind of people. No. I watched this lady on the news where she was standing over her grandson's body who had been shot. And the person who shot her grandson had ran and fled. And when they put the mic in front of her, she said, "Lord, please help him. My grandson is dead." So the person who did this forgive him, find him, see what we can do to help him so he won't do this again. No, aren't we those kind of people? I think there's a lot of people who know that we're God's chosen people. If you want to get spiritual, I'm not a religious person. I consider myself as being a spiritual person. And I mentioned earlier that I got help when I went to China. We have to be. If people are going to teach and preach that who God's chosen people are, we have to be. Particularly those of us whose grandparents and great-grandparents came here in America, look what they was able to accomplish and what they was able to invent and what they was able to do and what they was able to build and what their great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren are doing now. Are there people doing that? No. When you think about it, if you examine and look at them, have they risen to any point? More than anything else, they're getting to the point that they need what? Us. More and more.
To be honest with you, you know, I like this. It's okay to have obstacles in life. Like if everything was given to us, and I know a few incidents where some people that have influenced white people, and then they pass their fortunes on to their kids, and I mean the first generation is gone, and they're drugs, alcohol, whatever, you know, and they just can't function in life. But I think, you know, with the obstacles that we have, it kind of makes us to focus and enjoy the things in life. Like, I think to be successful in life, you have to enjoy the small things in life. And the things that we do and obstacles that we overcome, like that's a small victory in some kind of way that collectively become big victories in life. And I think that's where I kind of get that motivation from. But I posted something on Instagram the other day. It was Puff Daddy, and he was being interviewed, and he said, "I don't want to be white. I don't no knock to being white. I like being a black guy." You know what I'm saying? And then the obstacle that we see that we have, I'm comfortable with that, and I have joy accomplishing what we're accomplishing or what I'm accomplishing, being a black man.
It's kind of like I said earlier when I was getting skipped over for promotions, and then they sent dude in to try to get rid of me. I'm like, you ain't bad enough to get rid of me, because I'm good at what I do.
No, it's something inside you know.
Yeah, and I think that's the and I don't know if this is where you're going on the next show, but that's the comfort with self that we have to get to, is that I'm going to achieve either with you, without you, through you, over you, around you, this, that. You can't stop me. Right. My company's called CSN Productions. CSN can't stop now, which means you can't stop me and I can't stop me. Right. We do what we do because this is what we've been blessed to do. So Can't Stop Now Productions, they say, and that's every film we've started, we finished. Every film we've done, been in film festivals, right? This is what I expect. So if I name a company Can't Stop Now, guess what? That means no matter what the obstacle is, we always get over, or we always get around, or we'll get under, but we finish, right? So based on what this brother is saying, as long as we have that kind of attitude, that no matter the obstacle, we can achieve, that invokes fear. Because if I can't beat it out you, kill it out you, run it out you, y'all still coming? Like, goodness. I don't know what to do.
I'm ready.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
You know what? As an African American filmmaker, I just finished a film. This is a feature film, and there's no profanity in it. Not one curse word in the whole film. So we did it as a short first. The short did well, so we did a feature. It's almost likened to Cosby, Sanford and Son, so on and so forth, where it's just a good family comedy. So I said, I'm not going to make a family comedy where we got curse words, because I want children to be there. I want the parents to be able to enjoy it and not have to cover their ears, so on and so forth. Point is, This is my sixth feature film, right? But for whatever reason, a lot of folks didn't get black or get proud to be black until Black Panther came out, right? Oh, you got how many black filmmakers there are out here that's making good films that y'all haven't seen? Give us some support. You know what I mean? So don't be proud because of this one film. There's a lot of black filmmakers right now that black people can and should be proud of, right? So when it became about the one thing, I had an issue with it. I'm like, there was other films before this one, and there'll be more films after this one. When are y'all gonna support us? Now, I got nothing against Black Panther. I don't know the story, but I did go see the film, and since I didn't know the story, I don't know if I understood everything that was going on. That was beyond the point. It was beside the point. But the point was, we African Americans filmmakers are making good to great films. Don't stop with the action film. Come out and see the family comedy. Come out and see the love story. Come out and see the drama. You know, and I tell people this all the time. It doesn't even matter if you don't know the actors in the film. Because if that filmmaker gives you a good story, you can appreciate the story. If there's a black and white film on, I'll watch it. I ain't know the people. They may have been famous in their day, but right now I don't know who they are. But to me, that's some of the best storytelling that I get to see. You know what I mean? So it's an appreciation of a thing to say that it doesn't have to have Denzel to be good, right? It doesn't have to have whoever this Tom Cruise or Hanks to be good, right? You know, right? I can support, and so that's what I'm looking for. So the way we can have a Wakanda now is to support people who aren't in costume. Support the regular man who just gave you a good story with a whole bunch of actors that you've never seen or heard of, but the story was great. You got to give them a chance because it's already here. It's already here. You just got to give us a shot.
And in Atlanta, we and it was just ironic that the movie was filmed, majority of film here.
Yeah.
And that was a cool thing. And so now there will be a two, and they're trying to keep it majority in LA because they see the profit that it brought. Mm-hmm. So they don't want to if you're going to be a second one, they wanted to go. But I think to create a Wakanda, physical Wakanda, we're creating that here in Atlanta. I think there's some corporations that are white owned, Caucasian owned that the shares owners are getting big profits off of, but simply just walking through the airport, you see the black person with your bags, or you see the black police officer, or you see the black school superintendent. So that's a cool thing, and I think we're doing that here in Atlanta. I think we should support everything that goes on in Atlanta. I would love to. I moved here probably 6 years ago, but I visited maybe 10, 12 years ago. And when I first came here, I was surprised. You know what I mean? It was an eye opener, and I think we can do that. And I think the negative voice that we hear about Atlanta, the things that we hear about Atlanta, I think they're there, but I think the positives outweigh those negatives. Mm-hmm. But I think we're creating that Wakanda here. I think we get this traffic right. We get the traffic down. Yeah. I think the city can do a lot of things, and a lot of black people coming here. A lot of people from LA are buying houses. A lot of people from New York are buying houses, and Atlanta has become an international city because of the airport. Mm-hmm. Amazon's coming, and I don't know. I'm not from Atlanta. I'm not. I don't support the Falcons, even though I watch them. But
it
takes a while to jump on the bandwagon. Yeah, but I truly believe that Atlanta can be that whatever we want it to be. Mm-hmm. We can make it to be that,
Because there are enough African Americans here, like because the theater I usually use to screen here, I think it's a 380, 400 seat theater, and we've come close to filling it up. So I'm not really complaining, but that's just my experience. But I would hope that we would have more filmmakers that will go into there and they can have a crowd and they can have a good showing, a good screening, whatever. and it's just support, just to support what we're doing, and so we'll help us create the next whoever we want to call it. It's already there, and we just need the support and the resources to move our little trains forward. So
Well, I went to see the movie, and I talked to many of my friends and contacted quite a few people around my age. I said, "Did you go see the Black Panther?" They said, "Yes, and we've been planning to call you. What's your thought?" I said, "That was one of the best marketing schemes I think that somebody ever pulled off on us, particularly black people."
yes, sir.
And I said, and I think it sent a message to the black community, and it sent a message to black athletes. It sent a message to black producers, that we can show up the movie, and we can make sure that certain films get top ratings.
Mhm.
Right? You know why I went to see the Black Panthers?
Why?
Because I knew where the Black Panthers got its original star. Do you know where they got it? The original star? In Alabama. Yes, sir. In Alabama. So all of those of us in Alabama who grew up and knew about that, we thought we were going to see some what was happening, there. We didn't look at this comic book type situation because they said Black Panthers. And it was like, you're going to go and you're going to see these powerful people,
Yeah.
and quite naturally, I want to go see these powerful people. But I saw some of the most powerful subliminal messages in that movie. They was there, okay? Because after I was sitting there and I get to thinking about it, I'm thinking about what they did with Wall Street when they bummed it, okay? Yeah, what they did when they destroyed these black men who were the first one to start credit unions and start banks here, the architects and all that kind of stuff, And I'm looking at this, I'm saying, okay, I'm relating that, but I'm comparing it to the United States from that particular point, okay? Almost like Hidden Figures, when I went and saw that, I'm going like, wow. Okay, so I took it and approached it a kind of a different way, but I think it did. It sent some powerful messages to us, and I don't know. Well, my sons, they say I'm from another world anyway. They don't know where I came from sometime in my thought process. But I would say it was a great movie. I kind of enjoyed it. But I enjoyed more the power subliminal message that was in the movie. And it was sending a message to us. And I see you two gentlemen picked up on that too. And we just got to translate that into our community and doing some things.
And talk about the building of Wakanda, there's this guy that's in Harlem. His name is Dapper Dan, and he was a designer back in the 60s and 70s, and he designed clothes that Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and all those guys kind of had, and he would take it and he would alter it and make it what it was. And I listened to one of his podcasts, and he was like, culture and style, it accidentally happens. Like, there's no one dictating, okay, in 10 years this is going to happen, this is going to be a fad. Like, we accidentally create a lot of things that America uses today from a black point of view. And we deem what's relevant and what's not relevant. I don't know if you guys are Instagram, but if you look at some of the things that Caucasian people put on Instagram, it's boring. You know what I mean? I'm just being point. I'm sure they agree with me. But if you look at some of the things that we put out as far as messages and stuff that we accidentally do, like some of the songs that we got, dances that we do, the fashion that we have, the swag that we got. You seen Obama when he walked from Air Force One when he won the first, that guy, you know what I mean? And when he was doing the parade, when he was walking, him and Obama, like, we accidentally do that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And so I think as a whole, we talk about the movies, we talk about music, we talk about fashion, we talk about culture. If we home in on the stuff that we do, and then let me just kind of go off a little bit, because I like this talk about this, but one day I was in, I think not Kansas City, but I don't know. I was in the airport, and I was reading this book, and the book was talking about this lion in Africa, south a part of Africa, and it was talking about this airport that someone donated to keep the planes from having to fly across the continent. They can come, fill up, and then leave. It just was that. It wasn't a place where you would get on and get off, just fill up and go. But they had problems with the plane landing because the animals would come out and sunbathe and suntan and just on the runway. And so this guy came up with an idea. He said, if you take lion dung and you put it around the runway, it doesn't matter if it's a cat here in Georgia, it's a animal in another continent. They understand instinctively what lion dung smells like, and it's something about them. They're fearful about it, so they put the lion dung on it. You have to worry about no animals coming out sunbathing. So that's what I'm saying. Like us as black people, like the dung from a lion is very valuable. The stuff that we accidentally do is very valuable to, you know what I mean, to everybody else. And we talk about culture vultures of how the white man view us, and they see that something happened, like recipes are accidentally happened and fashion is accidentally, and they take that and they market it, and it's I did a video, not a video, but a commercial for a guy. He has a huge beard. I mean, it's down here. He's here in Canton, and he's marketing himself, and he's a white guy. He's got himself into Walmart's, but he's on the lower shelf, and then he's online. And they said if he sell more units, he can get up to the top shelf. And so that's what he's doing. He said, "Don't mind me doing another commercial." So I was like, okay, cool. But what he done was he took all the products that we have, shea butter, all those products, and he now marketing it back to the white people. The stuff that we've been, you know what I mean? Yeah. Stuff that we created long years ago, they're taking it, and he's taking it now. And I looked at the ingredients, it's nothing no different than what a female will put on her hair, or the guy will put on his hair that's black. So what I'm saying is, the stuff that we create and who we are as a person, as people, it's powerful. But some kind of way it slips away from us, or we don't deem it to be important, and someone picks it up and they benefit from it. But if we was able to home in some of that stuff, create what we can create, and we can have Wakanda anywhere.
So the concern, I think, for me anyway, is Wakanda is nice as a concept because it's just our little thing. But that ain't the world we live in. So we have to be, because of where we live, inclusive. But we have to make sure in that inclusiveness, or in that inclusive spirit, that we support each other, which also means those of us on the other side that's giving people, merchandise to support. We got to do it right, because I can't buy from you just because you're black if you're going to charge me twice as much. We have to make sure that what we're offering is at least meeting the minimum standard where we're good with the service and the cost and so on and so forth. But like I said, we can do all that, but we can support. But then Bill Duke is my mentor, and so one of the things I learned from him was always be worth the money. And as long as I've had that attitude, every film I make is like, be worth the money. Because I've sat in theaters to watch films, even from studios. Like, wow, I can't get that time back.
Yeah, oh my God.
So, and that's not and that's a studio film. So, and that's my point. Just because it came out of a studio doesn't mean this is the greatest film. You got great films coming from indie filmmakers too. So every film has a shot to be good or bad. So studio, indie, doesn't matter. Anyway.
Who became the savior and who saved Wakanda?
The white guy. The white guy. At the end of the day.
Yes.
I saw that.
Yes.
And
yes.
With all these African American people.
Yes.
The white guy saves the day.
Yes. And they yeah, I did too. And I got on the phone, I started calling people and said, "We know we're going to hear from you." I said, "Did you see what they did?"
Yeah.
They did that. And it was totally amazing. Because I thought she was going to take the him, but she didn't.
But see, now this is me as a filmmaker.
Power subliminal message.
That's the kind of message that I intentionally will not send. Will not.
Yeah.
Because I can't have a film with this many African Americans in it. But the one that saves the race
Yes.
is somebody other than African American. That makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say this. As a filmmaker, as a storyteller, every filmmaker has the right to do it however he or she decides to do it. That's just my way. I can't have this many people that made all of this stuff happen. Got us out of this and got us out of that and pulled us all the way here.
Right.
And just we're on the brink of losing everything. Somebody outside of us, the only one in the whole bubble,
Yeah.
is the one that saves everybody in the bubble.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you this. So I had a film, and in the film, my character was dating this girl who was like 19, 17 years younger. So she's 26 in the film. I'm in the theater watching the film, and they don't know where I am because I always go in last, right? And the guy in front of me, young guy, talking to his mother, sees my character Nadia in the film, and says, "Mom, Nadia's only 26 years old. She has her own store." The mom responds, "Baby, if you work hard, you can do the same thing." I could have got my home.
That's all you had to hear, right?
That's all I had to
That's
hear.
all.
Because I gave him something that he can take away from that film that's positive.
Right.
You can save your own day.
Yep.
You can create this if you work hard, do what you need to do to put stuff in place. I can't show that young man. You can only do it if somebody comes and saves you. Because now I just took the power from him and gave it to somebody else. And if he doesn't know who that somebody else is, he doesn't know who to go to ask for it. So then he never gets it, and he never does it. So exactly. So I want them to say, "I can do this."
Yep.
You saw what the characters did in the film, and you said, "If I do what he did, maybe I can do this too, or maybe I can do it better. I can do it bigger." But it started with him inside and brought it out, not dependent. See what I'm saying? So that part of the film kind of ruined it for me. I ain't gonna lie.
Same here.
That ruined it for me.
Same here.
I saw that message loud and clear.
Yeah.
Y'all can't survive on your own. Y'all can't do this on your own. Let us come.
Yeah. And think about this. He was only there and alive because of what? Remember, he stepped in front of them and took a shot. He was dead. They brought him back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am so glad that somebody else saw that and talked to that. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that one was hard for me.
Man, it's crazy. It's a lot that we need to actually come up with to get us to a place that we need to be.
Yes.
There's some progress that has been happening, but slowly it's coming together.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more focus that we need to do as a people, and focus on us, and then go out, and talk to others.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't. To me, myself, I say we shouldn't start a war, because it's just going to be a whole bunch of unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
But just take it as it comes, learn from it, strive to do better.
Mm-hmm.
Strive to make sure that once I can do something better, maybe I can reach back and help somebody else.
That's why I'm living abroad, right?
And that's a good thing that LeBron's doing. Building the school, he's being more than just the average athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a different light on LeBron.
Yeah.
That other athletes are not getting, and the others are not getting.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm not a LeBron fan. Matter of fact, ever since he did that decision, I've completely not been a LeBron fan.
LA?
Yeah. No, with the whole I'm taking my talents to Miami or whatever that thing was. So here's the thing though. How do you fight when you don't know how to fight? LeBron just wanted to fight, didn't have to flip the finger. Because he took action.
Yeah.
That was so independent of anything else going on. I see a need. I'm gonna make a decision, and I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna make a difference. I didn't even know he was building a school. I don't know how many people knew he was building a school. But the bottom line was he built a school.
Yeah.
And so There you go. So whether I knew about it or not is irrelevant. He wasn't building it for me. It wasn't necessary for me to know. But the point is, he saw a need. He took action. And again, that's how we win fights. We go to court. We can do this. We can do that. But it's the action that we have to, we kind of got to get it up a little bit. Our schools that are still rate low, 2s and 3s for high schools. We gotta come on, administration. We've been at 2s and 3s for years, but let's get the scores up. So even my fraternity, we adopted elementary school. We go in, I think twice a month. Trying to educate help with the education process for the elementary school. Again, trying to help improve scores. So we come on, we gotta. It starts young, and we gotta keep them. We gotta keep showing them there's a way. There's a way out. You like I said, I'm from it was called project back then. I guess they call it housing development now. Of Tallahassee, single parent household. And so I had no silver spoon. I didn't have an aluminum spoon. I just had hope, and passion, desire. And I was able to plan. And I learned the coolest thing I learned in life was a contingency plan. And I said, "What's that?" And they said, "That's if your first plan don't work out." So I always had 3 plans. I had my plan, my backup, and the backup for the backup. And if anything else kind of went wrong, if I had to go to plan B, I created a D because I always had to have 3 plans. So that's how you succeed. You can't just expect everything to fall into place. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But you got to understand, I'm strong enough, and I can get by it, I can get through it, I can get over it.
Again, so I do want to thank all my guests, Mr. Horton,
welcome.
Victor, and Mr. Jared. That was a good show. That show really meant a lot. And for those who are watching, learn something. Take something from these people and live your life by some of the things that they've said. Saying that, I have a quote from Kofi Annan, if I'm saying that name correctly. We may have different religions, different languages, even different colors of skin, but we all belong to one race. And that's the human race. I'm your host. This is Men Do Talk.
That's why I'm